the opportunity, but it was like she was rumored to play
That's
Storm.
way before my time, man. I mean, I'm young out here in these streets.
Yeah.
Storm.
Hey, we got to start. Or you're Big Cloud. You're jumping on P Rock show at 7, aren't you?
Yeah, it's already going. It's going. Should be live. Should be live. Let me know we're live.
Yeah, we're not yet. But yeah, just FYI, because I'll be jumping off about 6:30, so I can prep for that.
We're live.
Yeah, now we are now. Yeah.
Hey guys, what's going on? What's up? The RGT Podcast episode 81. We're here. How y'all doing?
Good. What are the PC specs for this Call of Duty game? I didn't get to see it.
Well, you gonna buy it? You gonna buy this next Call of Duty?
I'm gonna buy it on PlayStation.
Yeah, I was trying to get a review copy for it for sure. I'm gonna work on that. But anyway, we're here. What's going on, y'all? This is RGT episode 81. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Do us a huge favor, hit that like button. Go ahead and share it out. Let's get more gamers in here, and let's have a good show. We're actually going to try to condense this one a little bit because, as you're Craig, he kind of spilled the beans. We got to go, and we have another commitment, another show we got to jump to, which is 60 frames on lag. But real talk though. Thank everybody who's here. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show, and let's have a good one. I'm gonna go ahead and shout out the panel. This is gonna be us three. Obviously, I'm gonna start with the Messiah. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me. We made it to a Friday, and thanks for having me on. And ready to talk about what looks like is going to be the world's most powerful console, this PS5, when it comes out. So yeah, let's get it going.
There you go, Mr. Foxy Games UK. Go ahead, brother.
So you and Craig got another podcast to go straight from here. Are you hot footing it over there?
Yeah.
You gotta get over good foot.
You moonlighting strangers, cause we met on the way. Remember that show? Yeah, Bruce Willis, Civil Shepherd, Moonlight.
Yeah, that's a classic. Yeah.
Al Jarreau. Moonlighting strangers, cause we met.
Oh, so you guys are gonna be all dilly and just singing along, huh?
Look who jumped in here. Look who decided to join.
Who that?
Of course I'm gonna jump in.
I know you had to work. I was like, oh, he's gone, guys.
But,
yeah. Well, you gotta pay a bill.
Oh, I gotta pay the bills.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay,
shout out to
it
pays the cost to be the boss, man. It pays the cost to be the boss.
Big shout out to the homie Jay Barry. Appreciate the super chat, brother. He says, "What's up, y'all? PS5. Hashtag respect gaming. Facts."
World's most powerful console, PS5. Looks like.
Go right ahead, Fox. I know you want to do your intro. I'm sorry. Go to your intro.
That was my intro, dude.
You
must have
did it. I didn't hear you say nothing. Oh, well,
moonlighting.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Carlos. I know you have to work, but go ahead, brother. I'm glad.
Man, it's your boy Ty Bar 87, aka Gamer Black Choice, not by trend. And this is the RGT podcast. Episode
81, brother. Yes, sir.
81.
We made it to 81 episodes.
With that being said,
damn you! Oh.
With that being said, I bid you adieu, but my presence here will be felt for a short duration of time because there's a lot of background noise. So, with that being said, to all my podcast members, to all the people in the chat, enjoy this episode. Subscribe to each and one of these individuals. And I'll check you out later.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start. The timer has begun. So we have some breaking news for the PlayStation 5. This has pretty much been a dominant Sony week. Gaming news has just been dropping left and right, and tons of info has just been given. Let's just go ahead with the big one. This was from Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan gave some insane details. He already confirmed that the PS5 will indeed be coming in 2020. The actual reveal will be 2020. And he went into even more details with the new controller. The DualShock 5 is going to be doing some insane stuff with the new haptic triggers and the fact that it's programmable with updates basically for developers. So basically with this new controller, developers will be able to fine-tune their games to their preference and to your feedback. So for example, let's say you're playing another Red Dead. That's if we get another Red Dead and you're saying that these controls feel a little loose and floaty. They can actually adjust them with updates and give you a much better control with the actual game. As far as the triggers are concerned, concerned, these triggers will also play a huge factor in terms of how you interact with the game in general. It's all about immersing you in the experience. So if you're playing a horror game, let's say you're playing another Resident Evil game, right? And you hear footsteps and you hear these big banging and clanging around. You can feel it in the controller, the vibrations in the actual triggers, and they can give you a more precise feel of where they're actually at. That type of thing. That's what these triggers are really going to do, and they're really, really good. And they're a lot different from what Microsoft's doing with theirs. Microsoft used force triggers where they're just, they just had them programmed, and after they were programmed, they were pretty much set after that. You know what I'm saying? These are completely different. But I'd like to hear everybody else's opinion on it. So go ahead, Craig. You go ahead. You got the floor.
Well, again, it sounds like it's the next step up. As far as evolution of what they want to do from the Rumble and things like that. It's interesting. What was nice to see and hear was they had firsthand, they had a firsthand account of the way it was reacting. So that's interesting. And just have to wait and see. I don't care as long as it works. It's not the main reason I'm buying the console, although it will make things more immersive. And I know Mark Cerny and has really been pushing the immersion button from the console's side to the VR. So looking forward to it, and I'm gonna have to wait and see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. Foxy, what's your thoughts on it, brother?
Well, when I heard the news about I'm more interested in the triggers and them feeling tighter for different scenarios. Because if you play something like The Last of Us, or maybe when The Last of Us Part 2 comes out, pretty sure that'll be the same. Like the gun play in that game is really realistic. The gun feels heavy. The recoil is heavy. Even the sway is heavy when you're holding the gun. So I'd imagine when you've got, say, a Magnum or a Colt, whatever, and you're cocking that gun and pulling back the trigger, that it should feel nice and tight. And when you finally pull the trigger down and the bullet releases, you feel that haptic vibration almost as if it feels like the bullet has left the controller. I'm looking forward to that. And MotorStorm, I really feel like if this is what the controller can do, we know the difference between wading through grass and flying through mud, then surely MotorStorm Revival would take full advantage of a kind of functionality like that. Because MotorStorm was notoriously muddy, especially the first game. Right. And I would imagine that, they could really enhance the controls for a game like that. But that's what I'm looking forward to. I feel like people are worried that, it's going to be gimmicky, as in it won't get used much like the touch pad. But I don't think so. I think this is universal. I mean, the touchpad is hit or miss, but I can imagine, tightening the triggers. It's just going to be an easy thing, isn't it? It's just setting variables, in the game's code,
right,
like 1 to 10. Maybe we could have an option in the options, in the controller options, that we could scale it ourselves. Have a resistance from 0 to 10. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be definitely cool. What's up, everybody in the chat? How y'all doing? What's up, Salty? Shout out to Lobo. He gave a $2 super chat. He says, keyboard and mouse support for consoles. Hoorah.
What's up, Salty? How you doing, brother?
How you doing, brother? What's up, Fernando? How you doing? Good to see you. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. Let's share it out.
Thank you. Like and share.
Let's go ahead and get to reply to that, what you said. Yeah, I agree with what you said. Absolutely. It does sound great. I would like to see take advantage of it, and I think they are going to take advantage of it, is Naughty Dog with The Last of Us Part 2. I think they're probably going to use The Last of Us Part 2 as a tech demo with an update and patches for it, you think? Maybe?
Go ahead, Foxy.
Because remember, when this comes out, obviously Last of Us is going to come out before that, but you know how they did with PS4. We got the Last of Us remastered.
Yeah, they're obviously going to add, even to Death Stranding, PS5. Yeah. I mean, that's a given. When a game is a crossover from the PS4 generation to PS5, it's obviously going to come with all the enhancements that the controller is going to offer, and the graphics capabilities, and even maybe ray tracing could be added. Who knows? But this is why I prefer playing racing games on the Xbox One, because over the PlayStation 4, and it's going to sound strange because I do prefer PlayStation overall for gaming. But when it comes to racing games,
Right.
and sometimes first-person shooters, I do prefer the Xbox controller on Xbox One because in the triggers you get that feedback, and I really like racing, especially in Forza Horizon. Like you're taking corners, you can actually feel it in the triggers. So I'm hoping that we get something like that
So you want
as
those
well
finer
with the
tuned
DualShock.
games?
Yeah, because I like that on the Xbox. It's one of the most redeemable features on the Xbox, actually. They've really done a great job with that controller. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. You know, they might not release, solid games every month or every other few months like Sony does, but they damn sure nailed the controller.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. The only thing, my only grab with that Xbox One controller is not necessarily the triggers. It will be the shoulder buttons. I thought the shoulder buttons were a little too like flush.
God, that's another story, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't like them either. They're cheap and Fisher pricey and very plasticky. But if you're talking about the triggers, though,
Yeah,
they're
the triggers
wonderful.
were a different story. Yeah, the triggers were great.
Yeah.
Definitely cool. So, I guess I'll ask one more question to this before we move on to another one. With these new triggers and everything else, do y'all expect like VR to probably have something like this, like their own version with the new
Yeah.
Oh,
headset?
they definitely. I
Yeah.
already know they are. I know already that they're gonna have a. They're working on a controller. I'm gonna let Craig jump in because I know he's dying to say what he wants to say. But I'll just say this quickly. Like Sony are going to copy and, for want of a better word, replicate the Vive HTC wireless controllers
Mm-hmm.
because Sony's going wireless for the PS5 PlayStation VR unit. That is wireless. There's already a patent. There's already a design that's leaked out there. In fact, I knew this a year ago. I was talking about wireless PlayStation VR, and it's all gonna be wire free. That's gonna be the big thing, the big selling point,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna have up to 1440p resolution in terms of what you'll see visually. The sound will be much better. You'll probably get that ray tracing implementation in the sound, 3D audio.
Yeah.
So yeah, all of that's gonna work out for VR. I mean, but VR is Sony's not in a hurry with PlayStation 5 VR. It will come out sometime after the console. It won't be any time close to the console's launch.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Definitely good. Good to see everybody hyped for this. This is dope. I was shocked by this because that was one of the cool thing about it. I don't know if they'll get rid of the light bar, but more than likely they will get rid of the touchpad. Y'all see that happening? Because I don't really think touchpad supported as much, and I just think it's
It wasn't. It was surplus requirements. I'm sure Craig want to say something on that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, real quick. Yeah, the VR is, I'm looking forward to the wireless VR. Shout out to Lincoln Clay. He had donated to the cause and donated his own VR. Unfortunately, where I had that car wreck, I cannot hold things on my head very long. It's that heavy.
Ooh.
If it was heavy to both sides, I might be able to get away with it. But I can only hold the VR on my head for maybe 30 minutes. I'm pushing it at 40. So wireless or something similar to what Oculus does. It's a lot lighter.
Mm-hmm.
It's better. And again, the immersion. I had heard what Foxy had said was going to be higher than 1080p. I didn't know what it was going to be at that point, 1200p, 1440p. That's great for me. I'm a 1440p guy. But and again, immersion. That's the word that has consistently come out of AMD with Lisa Su, who's now president and CEO. And it's come out from their conference at CES. It's come out from the April Wired article with Mark Cerny, and it just came out again with Jim Ryan and Mark Cerny. Immersion seems to be the word that's the most consistent. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people are saying the touchpad and the light bar can go. The light bar, don't get me wrong, I thought it was cool on paper, and then when we finally got it, it didn't really add much to the game.
It's rubbish.
It doesn't add much. It's not bright enough at all, and plus it just it depends on how dark the room.
It's obtrusive in the night. If you got a big screen and you're playing in the dark, even when you turn it down to its lowest, you can still see it reflecting back at you in the screen. I hate it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I can't stand it.
Okay. I put mine on my PC, and because somebody said it was some type of program, and that program was straight up garbage. But what it did allow me to do was it allows you to change the color. So it doesn't reflect.
I don't like any of the color. I don't like any of it. I turn mine down as possible, dim as possible. To me, it was never was interested in it. It wasn't even a novelty. I mean, the first time I noticed it was when I loaded up Grand Theft Auto 5 on PS4, and when it starts loading, it starts flashing like a police siren. That's just annoying.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
That's like a
does. That's
toy.
right.
I mean, I
That's
can
right. When you get
understand the
chased, I
speaker.
forgot
It's like
about
a
that.
toy. It's like a toy
Yeah.
for a child. It's like buying a remote control car,
Yeah.
and the lights on top just flash like a toy. I don't care about that.
That's right. When you get chased, it does go red and blue. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I remember. Well, in terms of like, what was it? The not the light bar, the speakers, right? The speakers they had. I'm like, I thought the speaker was more likely useful, but other than that,
Rubbish.
it was just like.
I turn it off every
Turn
day.
off too?
Rubbish.
No, the speaker was
It
okay
makes me
for
jump.
me.
It makes
did
me
it?
jump.
Oh,
It
wow.
always makes me jump when I never turn it off. It make like sometimes I'm playing it right because I always think, sometimes you have to turn it off game by game. Sometimes I know you can turn it off at the system level, but for some reason some games reactivate it, and I'm thinking it's off, and then I hear this talking coming through, and it makes me jump, especially at night. Especially at night in a quiet scene, and suddenly, and it's always overbearingly tinny and loud, like them old 1970 walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That's a
Lord,
good
see?
point.
That's wow.
I like the DualShock control. I tell you what, overall, because it might sound like I'm hating on the controller. I'm not.
No.
I do like DualShock 4 controller. I love that. You can you can plug your headphones into it. I like, it's got the sound streaming. I like that. I like the fact that it's got a nice ergonomic feel. But I do prefer diagonal sticks though. I don't like the sticks so
You don't like the classic
No,
DualShock
I've
4?
never liked that. I've
Never.
always,
So you use a
I always
360.
wish Sony would change that because
Yeah.
my
Ergonomically.
my thumbs always clash.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Ergonomically, that the Xbox. Ergonomically, and again, the Xbox controller was designed by orthopedists. They actually came in and helped Microsoft. So, and as somebody who works in the medical field, trust me, the way it contours to your hand, that's perfect. Like that's why I don't understand people always complain about it. I'm like, what's wrong with the original?
Well, the original, you talking about the original, the PS3 one? The PS3
No, the
one.
original. Well, the original Xbox controller, the one that came with the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One, it still contour to your hand. It's got those little bitty, fine little bumps in it. You can feel it, and I can,
I know.
I can put my hand. It lets your hand rest. So Foxy's right. The PlayStation one, you're putting more stress on your fingers, but you're putting less stress on your wrist with the PlayStation controller.
Yeah.
Xbox controller is the opposite because it's heavier. There's more stress on your wrist. There's less on your hand.
I hope Sony give us a proper D-pad as well. I don't want any. I want a fully joined D-pad. I don't want separated D-pad design.
Or you can just
I
kind
don't
of
like
slide
it.
over instead of picking your thumb up or picking a finger up. Yeah, you can just kind of slide it. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that may be what they're doing. We'll have to wait and see. Again, they're talking immersion, so have to wait and see how they. And immersion for me is going to be different than it is for you, Big Cloud, and different than for Impatient Fire here in the chat. So, so yeah, I mean, again, it's somebody who's going to be playing VR since they're changing it. I'm going to be going into a lot of VR. So, yeah, I'm excited for the VR and the and what they're going to do with the PS5, and so is Sony. I mean, they're very excited about where that technology is going. So that's good.
Yeah. They did announce USB-C in this thing too. So this thing's going to charge very, very quickly as well. So it's going to
that's not news though. Not that Nintendo done that years ago. It's not news.
They're going to get rid of the charging problem. So hopefully, I'm guessing they're going to eliminate unnecessary gimmicks from this controller this time around. We don't really, if it, the light bar can definitely go, touchpad can definitely go. I know somebody might ask, well, how can you tell?
I mean, they can keep it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anything. If they can keep everything, go ahead. That guy. I mean, I just don't use them. I don't mind stuff being there because I just won't use it. I mean, just because I don't like it doesn't mean it should be taken away.
I mean, they can move certain things around, like the share button.
If having everything makes the controller expensive, then get rid of the light bar for sure. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm saying they can move stuff around and bring it back to the more classic DualShock feel. For example,
keep the speaker though. Keep the speaker because you got an assistant on there, and it's got a mic. It's got a mic, so I wouldn't mind hearing assistant talking to me through it, but it's just when it's unexpected. When you think you got something off, and then suddenly you just say, He's like, what the fuck? And I'm always chill. I'm
Oh,
always
God.
chill at night, because I've got my accessories when I'm playing a video game. So I'm always in that chill zone. So when you suddenly hear someone barking at you through the speaker, it's like, what the you thought you turned it off. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
All right. Good point. That's definitely a good way to start the show. Let's move on to this one right here. The layoffs. Sony, there's some layoffs going to be happening with Sony Europe. For those of you that are definitely don't remember this, we talked about this on the Gamer Couch podcast, the last episode. This man pretty much broke the news. Foxy Games UK. Basically what's happening with Sony is globalization pretty much, and this pretty much played a factor, I believe, as well in Sean Layton leaving. The way they're doing it, they're definitely changing things around. They're definitely they're trying to be more aggressive in their PR and marketing teams, hence why they went with this particular decision to lay off some individuals. They're even making people reapply, or not reapply, but I would say they're reevaluating some people for their jobs when it comes to that. But Aaron Greenberg also chimed in on this situation, and he's actually offering those Sony executives some positions at Xbox Studios. So that's what's going on there. What y'all think about everything?
Well, I'll give a big shout out here to Foxy. One of the reasons why I'm a big fan of the channel is the accuracy. And as said, Foxy, you did say that more layoffs were coming, and 72 hours later, that's unfortunately exactly what happened. They are centralizing things. This has been pretty much was said on CNBC on Thursday. And so we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, as technology advances, it gets more streamlined. And, the less help you're going to need doing certain things. And unfortunate, I know today, I'm sure somebody got a pink slip today, and lost their job. And I've been there. It happened to me in 08, 09, I should say. So sucks. And, and I don't look at what Greenberg did as a troll or anything like that. It's, if people want to go work at Microsoft, and like you said, they don't mind relocating from Europe, and they're qualified, they can definitely go ahead and apply, and they'll get first. It's good to know you'll get your resume will get looked at. At least it won't get filed 13.
Right.
And then they may find other positions in Sony. I know Sony's movie studios they're expanding, and they always need tech people to help out. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. It is unfortunate, and it's just the way the world is going. So. Wait to AI. We get to artificial intelligence, and they'll still need people to fix the machines for now. But in 50 years, the machines will fix themselves. They'll send out another machine, say I'm broke, and another machine will show up to fix it. So that's just the way it's going to be. So it sucks, and I'm not damage controlling. I've been there. But I just want to give a big shout out here to Foxy, because again, he broke this, and not only did he break it, but he said more. Unfortunately, more were coming. And Foxy Games is right on time again. So appreciate you, Fox.
Yeah, it's one of those times you don't want to be right, though, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah. As you said,
you don't ever want to call it and say, "Oh, these people are going to lose their jobs," and then it actually happens. It's just, it's not so much. I don't want to take credit like that. It's not so much that I broke it. I wouldn't give myself that accolade. It's really common sense.
Yeah.
You just look at the landscape and see what's going on, and you connect the dots, and you realize, hey, there's centralization going on here. And it helps that somebody who's losing their job that I know at Sony is confirming my suspicions anyway, because before they even told me, I asked them, I said, is Sony centralizing operations? Because I've worked in the business corporate world. So I understand the terminology and how the clock ticks. I understand. I know the mechanisms of how it all ticks. So if you know trajectory, and you know how companies either merge or get bought out, or some companies are even there just to increase their price because they have no intention of sustaining themselves. They just want to be bought out by a bigger company. Some companies just start up to be bought out. Did you know that? They have interest in being in that field. They just want to get to a certain level where they're noticed and they're offered millions, and then they can just retire. very young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
early gaming in the 80s, especially game companies in the 80s, that's exactly what they did. They get 20, 25 people, and they went and shopped their stuff around. And, the top 5 guys that started the company, 5 or 6 guys, yeah, they got rich. And the
well,
other
none
people
of the
got
people.
shaft.
Well, look, Twitter is not owned by the creator. The creator sold it a long time ago.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
but
All of these social media platforms that we all enjoy or use, the original people that were involved, they cashed out a long time ago.
that's true. Yeah,
Netflix, they cashed out a long time ago. They sold at the right time. Off they go with their billions. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's how it works. But so I'm not going to take credit for that. It was kind of common sense, to be honest.
Okay. All right.
But thank you. I won't look a gift horse in the mouth.
To add on to
well,
that,
yeah.
Mike Ybarra from Microsoft, after 20 years of service, he announced that he will be leaving Xbox as well. Obviously, you already know with Sean Layden. Sean Layden has left officially too after 30 years. He's been quiet. A lot of theories have been going around about this. I'm just going to throw mine quick right here, and then I'll let you guys just chime in. My thoughts are very simple on it. I think really it's just the time. You know what I'm saying? Like Sean's been here for 30 years, and obviously you already know what's going on with Sony in general. They're going with new blood, so to speak, because they're going in new directions and new fields. So since they're going in those new directions, obviously they're going to pretty much just do something different. And since Sean, he's been with them for so long, it makes sense for him just to retire. He's about to be 60. Makes sense.
Yeah, now
Just
I'll
step
break
away.
this down.
And
Marvel Games,
oh yeah.
Marvel Games may, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, you're
Sean Layton may end up at Marvel Games. Okay, Marvel Games is responsible for doling out the Spider-Man IP to Insomniac. They doled out. I don't know who's making the VR Iron Man game, and
It's
they
somebody
also
with them, yeah. Somebody with Marvel.
yeah, I'm not for sure who's doing that.
Isn't
And
it Saber? I thought it was Saber Interactive.
it could be. It could be. I'm not for sure. And then they also doled out the the Avengers game. So and because Sean Layton has already got a working relationship with Marvel Games, he may end up there, or he may end up at Sony Pictures. But and again, he may say kick rocks. I mean that trip. He tweeted out that picture. They were going down some gondola or whatever those things are called in Holland. He was going somewhere. I don't know if they were going to Remedy Games or wherever. They were going somewhere, and it's looked very peaceful. If you don't have to get up and grind, you don't have to. So
But you have to remember as well, at that level, at that executive level, a lot of them are signed to contracts where they can't work for a rival company for at least 5 years after they leave. A lot of them can't even go to a competitor.
Yeah.
So, for instance, Sean Layden might not be able to go to Xbox, whether they offer him billions of dollars or not. He can't go because then he could be sued by Sony.
Yeah.
Because he's got intellectual property details in his brain. He's leaving with all that information.
Yeah. Yeah, he probably can't go anywhere until PS5 hits the shelf. But no, you're right. I mean, it's a good point. But just some places his feet. Don't be shocked if you hear some things of him possibly being there. Especially Marvel Games to me makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And because again, he's already worked with them. They've already sat down and kind of broke bread, and kind of went out and did And Marvel Games is a young company that's Marvel just kind of kicked back into gear. So we'll have to wait and see how it turns out. But I see people. I laugh. People say, well, he left because he saw the specs of the Scarlett. At which, when Mike Ybarra left, people said, well, I guess he left because he saw the specs of PS5. But you're right. I mean, Layton been there 30 years, Ybarra 20 years. And sometimes you just don't feel like doing it anymore, and it's okay. It's okay to.
But sometimes, but you know what? If you look at the pattern, every generation they change people, or people leave. It's just job. It's I think it's the professional way that you leave at a certain point.
Yeah.
Because the longer you stay there, you become like dead wood. I'm not being funny, but Jack Tratton left at the right time. Andrew House left at the right time. Sean Layden left at the right. They all left. If you look at all the Sony people, they all left at the right time.
They left on their terms too, and they got massive stock in the company.
So
So
when they go and when other companies have either headhunted them or they go looking for their own fortune, they can take their resume and say, "Look, I left at on a high with that company. You know, they made billions of dollars in the 5 years of the project when I was working with them. It's not like you left and it was a sinking ship. It's like, you know, they were on the up and up when I left. So I'm a good bet. I'm a very good bet."
Yeah, that's a very good point. And like I said, I think they should bring Andrew House back just to announce the PS5. That's it. Just bring him back, cameo to give him a 3-day contract. You know, give him 300 stacks. Give him, whatever it takes. A couple women. That was because again, people need to go back and watch that rollout. And you want to talk about how you market and sell that, how to sell something. Those two guys nailed it. One complimented the other one. That was perfect the way they rolled PS4 out. And they just need to bring one of those guys back or both. Just whatever it takes. Like the Avengers said, hey, whatever it takes. You know, we got to get it done. So, and because that's for a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and say it now. If they don't bring him back, I won't buy a PS5. What? You know, because that's perfect. Because I need that guy to sell me that console again. Because that guy sold me the console. I was looking at the PlayStation thing like I was gonna get an Xbox. I just had a 360. You know, I was ready to get the Xbox. I didn't care about $500. And then those guys walked out and did what they did. I'm like, well, I'll get a PlayStation. So I mean, it was a no-brainer at that point. So they didn't bring him back. I mean, that's all I can say. They didn't bring him back or I ain't get it. So.
Do you see other games like obviously we got Iron Man? Do y'all see something big like Black Panther happening for PS5?
Black Panther may be a playable character in the Avengers game that's coming out.
True. But I'm talking about like in terms of like Sony maybe cutting a deal, getting a game.
No, I don't want that shit to happen, man.
No, Sony's got a lot. Sony's got 800 characters.
Free the black man. Everyone should have access to him.
Yeah, I mean, again, Sony has access to 800, 900 characters with the Spider-Man universe, so they don't need.
You start tying up all of these universal characters, man.
Yeah,
Sony's got Spider-Man. That's enough of a thorn in those who don't want to buy a PS4. You don't need to further kill these people with agonize them, antagonize them. With new, locking them out of other characters. It was bad enough when Tomb Raider was locked down to Xbox for a year. I just don't like that. I don't like that. I don't mind companies going after timed exclusives on games that they discovered that weren't already super popular everywhere. If Microsoft comes out with Scarlett, approaches a third-party company whose game is a hit, but the next one is going to be exclusive. I don't mind that because the first game, it's a new thing. But something that's been out there in the public arena for so long, suddenly being locked down to one platform, I'm not really a fan of that. Sony gets away with it with Spider-Man, because it's a different kettle of fish. They own the rights to that. So, that was something that was done when Stan Lee sold different parts of Marvel off to different companies. Fox got a piece. Not me personally, but Fox.
Universal.
Loads of them, and then Fox, Universe, everyone got a piece. You know what I'm saying? Everyone got a slice. So you can't blame Sony for locking down Spider-Man because that deal was done and tied up. But, they didn't go out looking for Spider-Man. It was on offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spider-Man didn't go to Stanley and say, we really want to keep this off the Xbox platform. Help us. No, it was Marvel was in financial difficulty, and a lot of companies swooped in and got a good deal.
It sure did.
Which one are you guys even buying? I know Craig's is definitely into it, so I'll definitely more than likely be linking up with you for the Avengers game. But are you gonna?
They'll adding Miss Marvel because I was on the fence with it. It sounds like it's a good story. I didn't know what the story was going to be, but it sounds like they're up against Taskmaster, and he's a cool villain. He'll be featured in the Black Widow movie for all you all who are going to see the Black Widow movie next year.
Oh yeah.
I'm buying it, and the addition of Miss Marvel sold me. I mean, I did a podcast on that. How excited I am that they added Miss Marvel, not Captain Marvel, but Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. So this is Marvel continuing. It'd be a cool character to melee with her powers. It'd be a cool character to melee.
Do you know what if I may? Do you know what the real irony is? Seeing in the chat people talking about Sony tying up, Street Fighter, but the irony is, even Tomb Raider was an exclusive when it first was created. It was an exclusive to the Saturn. It was on there for 6 months before Sony got it. It was exclusive to Saturn. You know what I'm saying? And even Street Fighter started off exclusive. Street Fighter 2 was only available if you bought a Super Nintendo.
Yeah, the Sega Genesis, if you bought Mortal Kombat back in the day, when it came to consoles, Sega Genesis had the blood code. You had to have a Sega Genesis if you would have the blood code, not Nintendo.
Yeah, but these games started off. These games are not good examples to say, but Sony got done this and Sony done that. Because they started off. Their life began as exclusive.
Yeah, it was cutthroat.
It's when something was never exclusive. Now suddenly it is exclusive. That's what I oppose. Yeah. If something started exclusive and that was its run and it's been like that, I don't care. That doesn't bother me because that's how it began. But ironically, Tomb Raider actually started off as a Saturn exclusive, but then it became so popular. Even Lucozade had a bite out of it with their advertising. The drink Lucozade. Everybody was marketing Lara, and then she became public property, kind of. And then Microsoft decided, after all that time of it being available to everybody, that they wanted to keep it simply because Sony had Uncharted. But the thing is, Sony created Uncharted. They didn't buy Uncharted away from anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I like exclusivity. This is not built. Steve Jobs famously coined. That's why Apple is where it is because of exclusivity. But yeah, when you are trying, but again, I believe in putting the competition out of business. I don't want to hurt the competition. I don't want to set the competition back. If I get into something, I'm getting in it to push you out. And so I like the exclusive content. I was laughing at a tweet that I saw today when some people were complaining about exclusive content and how it's bad, for gamers. Well, I'm sorry, but the Big Mac is exclusive to McDonald's. I should be able to go to Chick-fil-A and get it, but I can't. I have to go across the street and go to McDonald's. But it's just that's the way that's the way gaming is. There will always be. But I get what you're saying, Foxy. I'm in the other camp. I think that Sony can get more exclusive. And again, Microsoft allegedly has an exclusive deal for the Call of Duty next year.
Look at the statistics, right? Mm-hmm. On average, there is 300 million gamers out there. Mm-hmm. People who have bought more than one console in any given generation. Yeah,
correct.
There's approximately 300 million if you do the maths. So that means 1 in 3 of those people in that demographic, in that 300 million, 1 in 3 own a PlayStation platform because they sold 100 million.
Correct.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do the basic maths on average, I mean it's not going to be pinpoint accuracy here, but if you do the basic math, that means out of this generation, 1 in 3 of that 300 million people bought a PlayStation or bought multiple PlayStations or however they got to that number. All right. So there's a fat share. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole third of the pie, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, Sony is in a position where they don't even really have to go to companies and say, oh, I want to, what can we do about making this timed? Companies are approaching Sony.
No, you're right. You are correct about that. And even I took a picture, me being the tech guy. I took a screenshot of something from Marvel Games and how excited Marvel Games, because they're at New York Comic-Con. They sent out a nice tweet, and it's really amazing how much they're doing with Sony. I didn't know the marketing deal for the the Ventures game Ryan was talking about. That's with Sony. And I'm pretty sure Sony didn't walk in there and beg them for the marketing. I agree with you. I'm sure they approached them. So yeah, I don't want to move on off of this, but yeah, I am for exclusives. I mean,
I remember 360 era, the 360 era, Craig, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When Microsoft was buying up all this time stuff, okay, which didn't bother me because I owned a 360. These things only bother people who don't own that console. That's what it is. It don't, this is only anti-consumer when you don't want to buy into the platform. That's when it's anti-consumer. Okay? Because even though Microsoft was buying up all the exclusives, I still own the 360, so it didn't bug me but at the same time, I owned a PS3 as well. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I couldn't play online with those people because I had more friends on my PS3 than I did on my Xbox 360, because much like this gen, I wasn't much into buying into gold. I hardly purchased gold, Xbox Gold. I didn't really pay, especially because you had to do it to get Netflix and stuff like that. But I was doing all that for free on my PS3. So because as a consequence of getting a free service or online service on the PS3, I made more friends on the PS3 because I was always there. It's free and it's accessible. Okay. So at the end of the day, I think this anti-consumer exclusive nonsense only applies to those who refuse to buy into a platform. Because no one complains that and it's anti-consumer when the game is accessible to them.
Yeah.
Nobody says, "Oh, this is anti-consumer." If you can play it, it's when you can't play it. Suddenly, it's anti-consumer.
Yeah, it's not any consumer. Honestly, the simple fact is that there's nothing preventing you from going and purchasing the platform it's on. If there was,
the only reason why they can't play it, not because they can't afford to buy a PS4, they can't play it because they're so embarrassed that they picked maybe the wrong console to begin with. That they just don't want to admit that they picked the wrong console by buying the console they perhaps should have purchased, and they spend the entire generation at odds with themselves in some kind of mental battle with themselves.
That they keep losing,
self-loathing because I picked the wrong console. Well, you could just undo that and say, you know what, I made a mistake. Let me go and order this console to play this game I keep complaining that I can't play. But no, they're so stubborn that they've made a terrible consumer choice that they won't admit to, that they refuse to buy the platform they keep complaining about.
Well, they generationally, they don't know what it's like to lose. They don't. They've never been taught to lose.
You can't lose if you can't lose if you're prepared to be a multi-console owner. But when you want to tie yourself. When you want to tie yourself as a mascot to one corporation, then you lose all day long.
Well, no, I mean lose in the sense that, okay, you're able to do what you just said, to transition and say, I'm unhappy with what I got. I'm going to go ahead and go get something else, because they don't know what it's like to lose. They've never been taught. It's a lesson they've never been taught. It's you're perfect. Everything here is fine. This is a group of kids that got trophies for showing up. They gave them a trophy just for putting their shoes on. I wish
they were kids. You know what, Craig? If only they were kids. If only they were kids, though. But
well, they are to me.
The sad truth of them, mentally, they might have the mental age of a kid, but they're certainly grown men. Sometimes with grown adult children.
Yes, when they're mental midgets. They don't know how to lose. What they're going to now. And I was on Scumcast when I said this. What they're going through physically right now. I'm talking about the Xbox. The ones that are complaining, because not everybody that has one, or most people are not complaining. This is what it's like to lose. This is what it's like to lose.
I gotta repeat this. Someone in the chat said, Brian Landy's shout out. I lost my job. I got the. Oh no! Wait. Let me get that one. I love this. This is a classic.
Yeah,
I don't normally do this, but I want it. Where is it? Oh, I've lost it, man. Let's scroll too quickly.
I see it. It says I lost my job, got divorced, and I picked the wrong console. Fuck.
Before I chime in, shout out to Bryson Tatum. He said, "I believe Day One exclusives sell the best on PlayStation," and that was $2 super chat. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Look, there's no shame in buying the wrong console. I own the Xbox One too, but I also own the other consoles. So I don't feel so hard done by, because I don't have this thing you call pride that you're afraid to swallow. You see, at the end of the day, I look at it like this. Sometimes you make good decisions. Sometimes you make bad decisions. Sometimes you believe a company's marketing spin. Sometimes they lie to you. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just the way it goes. Like, at the end of the day, I don't want to knock Xbox to that point, because Sony's disappointed me in some aspects too. So has Nintendo, But at the end of the day, you got to look at track record here. If one company's prepared to dump their console after 3 years on the market, make another one, and then stop supporting that one for a camera and start giving you camera-based games, okay? And then kind of support their current console, the Xbox One, even better than Sony did for the first 2 years, and then say, oh, well, it's dry season now. You know, this is track record. You got to look at the way companies have been doing things over their consoles, and you see a pattern. That it's no secret that Microsoft just withdraws support sometimes or goes into some hiatus with their console, and they get sidetracked and start focusing on things that people don't want. But everyone should know that by now because they've done it every generation.
Yeah.
They abandoned the OG Xbox One to rush 360. By rushing 360, it caused Red Ring of Death, right?
Mm-hmm.
They made mistakes with betting on the wrong new DVD format. They went for the wrong one. It weren't Blu-ray. It was the other one, right? They went for that one. They made that mistake, okay? They also didn't even in going for the trying to establish the new HD DVD format, right? They still didn't even include HDMI in their launch console.
Yeah.
So that don't even make sense. You're not even ready for the next. You're not even ready for real HD, but you're battling to beat Blu-ray. I don't get that. And then you have to make new consoles that do have HDMI. Then you have to get rid of cameras. Like everything's been a repair. Everything Microsoft done seems to be undoing stuff that they've done. That's been Microsoft's story, undoing stuff that they've done. Instead of following the blueprint of success, like say the first couple of years of any console, because that's when they really go hard. If you look at Microsoft, they go hard for the first 2-3 years. OG Xbox, they went hard. Better looking games, more sophisticated games. I mean, Halo Combat Evolved. That blew every other, even PC gamers were blown away by that. Okay. And then with the 360, they just went out of there, game after game after game.
Even
and then
with the tech demos, remember that King Kong game?
Then it goes quiet. After 2-3 years, it's like they say, "Oh, we've done enough."
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, you're right. And you would have thought that that the people who buy their console understood that, but again, they sit around and they bitch and moan because the other companies that are beating their brains in should do something for them. It really reminds me when the MCU was just wiping the floor with the DCU. I mean, wiping the floor with them. And all these DC fans online got together and said, well, if you want me to go see your movie, you need to make it more like DC. That's what, and it's like, why would Marvel do that? Why would Marvel do that? They're making $1 billion every time a movie comes out. They're not going to change.
Craig, it's hard to believe that once upon a time, Microsoft had many key Japanese developers eating out of their hand, looking for budget. Loads of them with the 360. If you look at the amount of games that release in Japan for the Xbox 360 compared to, how things have been over their other consoles, there's a stark contrast. Microsoft was like up there. They were battering Sony's PS3 on price, on performance, visual performance, everything. They were just battering them, right? And then it just fell apart with Kinect. Microsoft's biggest mistake as a company when it comes to consoles has been Kinect, because it distracted them with the 360 halfway through that console's life cycle, and it gave them a terrible start with the Xbox One.
So do you think Microsoft will go for like a third-party VR going against Sony? You think so?
Well, yeah, I think they will, because at the end of the day, I think Microsoft's going to make Xbox Scarlett and PC integration unified. They unified it.
That's why I said maybe
it's going to feel like you own a
partner.
PC in a box with the Scarlett, because Microsoft are so in line now with the PC space that, they're giving you an option of playing high-level PC graphic type games in a console form factor, which is nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you look at the PlayStation 4, what is it? It's a PC in a box.
Right.
What's the difference? But at the end of the day, one of them is focusing on bespoke exclusive software that is not available and taking and removing the impression that you're playing on a PC in a box, while the other one is embracing that you're playing a PC in a box. You see, one is providing an illusion that you're not by offering you games you can't get anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is saying, yeah, you really are playing a PC in a box.
Okay.
Yeah, and not only that, they're also running around saying, we don't care if you buy this or not. I mean, they are literally walking around saying that, which is fine. They're being honest. So,
I always say, go back to the 360 era. Try and hire as many of that team, the A team, I call them, not the B team, Phil Spencer's B team, Aaron Greenberg and all them guys. I'm talking about the A team, Peter Moore, Ed Fries, Robbie Batch, all of them guys, Jay Allard. You know, if money is no option, you know, for Microsoft, no problem for Microsoft. And I know people are motivated by a fat ass salary. So maybe they can't get Peter Moore because he's Liverpool. He works for, you know, he's on the board of Liverpool Football Club. But you know, you can get someone like him. You know, get Kevin Butler. Remember Kevin Butler?
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Microsoft. You know what would be a bad blow to Sony? That if they hired Kevin Butler.
Well, yeah, and again, that's to me, their console people need to understand that Microsoft they're transitioning out of the console business. I know they're making hardware, and but you know they are transitioning out of that. I mean, they're trying to figure out ways to not make hardware and still deliver content through the cloud. So they're years away. Again, it's already been talked about with streaming, but this is where they're going. So it's just, it is what it is. Whereas at Nintendo and Sony, they're hardware companies. They will use the software to push their hardware. So, but again, talking to them is like talking to a 6-year-old that drew on the wall with crayons. You know, all they care about is what the crayon color looks. What's that song by Simon and Garfunkel? Mama, don't take my Kodachrome away. That's what it's like talking to them, you know. So it is. It's like, you know, that's what it's like talking to them. They're running, you know, they're running around now thinking that Sony is going to sell Spider-Man to Marvel when Sony has already announced they're going to do Spider-Man TV shows. These things are already in pre-production.
Yeah, but they can still sell Spider-Man. To Disney and still have rights. They could create a deal where Sony will forever have rights to create games.
They're not going to do that.
It depends. If you're leaving the movies alone, but you've got rights to the games, I'm sure Disney wouldn't have an objection to that.
Yeah.
Possibly not. Disney wants to control everything. But the fact that they already have an announced deal for the next 3 to 5 years.
Because I wouldn't turn down if I was offered $5 billion for Spider-Man and I'm Sony. Fuck the sequel. I'm selling that shit.
I would not sell it because the movie that just came out.
Dude, you're not gonna make $5 billion.
They just made $1 billion off one movie.
Yeah. All right. No. I'm not talking about the movies. I'm talking about forget the movies. I'm talking about if Sony only had the game.
Oh, well.
I'm not the movies. Obviously, if you put the movies into it, you're an idiot for selling it for $5 billion. But I'm talking about a world where Sony's only making Spider-Man games, right? They'll never make $5 billion over 3 games. You'd have to make 10 games. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, how much did this Spider-Man make? Do y'all know revenue-wise? Because this was the biggest.
Not $5 billion.
The movie made $1 billion. So
but we're talking about the game.
No, we're talking about the game. Like how much did the game make? Yeah, how much did this game make?
Craig is stuck on the MCU, boy.
Well, no,
that
Mysterio gamers saying billion is not profit. Yes, it was. Okay, that movie made it exactly 1 point something billion for Sony. All of Sony's money.
Yeah,
you know, Marvel got a taste of it, but that was part of the negotiation they just did. So, and they know, you know, Sony knows that IP generates minimum, even the dog shit Sony movie.
I'm not being funny, but God of War character is just as popular as Spider-Man. They proved it in sales on the PS4. It sold around the same.
Yeah, it did that in record time.
So Sony already has big hitter characters that they can make movies from. Do you know what I'm saying? Spin-off games. Like Sony's established characters now. Proper established characters. Nathan Drake. If Sony wanted to push Nathan Drake as a brand, just a character, they could put. There's so many white, straight-laced men that look just like Nathan Drake.
Well, there's so many things with Spider-Man. They don't just own Spider-Man. They own all the characters that Spider-Man's associated with. So they
I
own
know.
Morbius, they own
I
Venom.
know. When you look at it like that, 5 billion is small change, isn't it?
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, even if they just now the
If you just
actual
think
game.
about Spider-Man on his own, then 5 billion's worth it. But when you think about the universe, the Spider universe, now
Yeah, they own all that. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was telling people. They were like, well, the Spider-Man, the video game, get it back to the video game. There were no Avengers in the Spider-Man PS4 video game. They had some landmarks they had MCU crossover, but there were no Avengers. Every character that Spider-Man fought is owned by Sony. All of them. The only one that was ambiguous is Taskmaster. And I can't think of the other villain. It was kind of an offshoot.
I mean,
Oh,
Sony's the only company
Wraith
that
was
has
thrown in there, but
Sony's
she's,
the only company who has more than one first lady. They've got Ellie, they've got Aloy. Those are they're not the first female characters, but they're the first characters to really resonate.
I agree with that.
To be iconic. Do you know what I'm saying? Icons.
Yes.
Because they're icons now. When people talk about Horizon Zero Dawn, they talk about Aloy as a character as much as they do about anything else in the game.
Oh, yeah. I've seen people, I don't know how they get those screenshots. They put them on Twitter and they send them to Guerrilla Games. That shit's photorealistic looking. I don't know how they're doing it, but I saw a screenshot the other day. It just looked amazing.
You talking about those crazy photo mode that they use. It's photo mode, bro.
It's crazy.
When Halo 3 launched, right, there was a time when Master Chief, the character, was more popular than Star Wars or anything. Any Marvel character. Far more popular in the public mind share. Far more popular. Master Chief was up there with Mickey Mouse and Jesus in terms of recognized characters. Do you know what I'm saying? There was a time when you got to look at Xbox's failures. They were doing so well at points in different console life cycles. So well. I mean, I was so jealous when Forza Horizon 2 had launched. Yeah. And I didn't yet own an Xbox One. And I'm playing Drive Club, stuck on a track. And these motherfuckers are driving around in a big open world, and it looks like fun. So instead of being bitter and going on Twitter and saying, Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is lame. That's shit. That's anti-consumer. That should be on my Sony PS4. No, I went and got an Xbox One.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta pay another bill, Big Cloud.
What's up?
You gotta pay another bill.
Oh, do I? Okay. Yeah. Jimmy Gaines, what's up, brother? I just modded you. What's up, brother? Welcome. Shout out to everybody up in here. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Hit that like button. This is from Bryson Tatum. This is actually direct towards you, Foxy. It's a $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Thanks so much for support. He says, I don't agree with Foxy. I believe that Xbox went wrong with support. If Xbox supported their content, we would talk more proudly about them. That's what he has.
This dude don't even know when he's agreeing with you. You're not disagreeing. You're agreeing with me. I said exactly the same thing. You just connect. Made them go off form with the content. Instead of giving the content that we want, it started making this shovelware type content that you'd expect on the Wii. So that was the content problem. They focused too much on Connect. So we're agreeing with each other. You just wasted your $5, but I'm sure Ryan's grateful.
Yeah. That's a $5 foot long.
He's stupid.
That's a meatball sub.
I've never had anyone pay to agree with me.
Gaming News said Spider-Man made roughly 198 mil. What, in terms of profit? Right. I don't get it.
What, the movie?
I don't know. Maybe he's talking about the game. Maybe the game he's talking about. I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, tell me what it is. Game or movie? I'm not sure. Gaming News can't really give an opinion on what you just said.
If you agree with me, don't pay. Just pay when you disagree. And make sure you really disagree. Because you're actually agreeing with me and you don't even know.
What was it about the Connect? Was that what he disagreed
No
with?
offense, but the person said, I disagree with Foxy, which is cool. You could disagree with me. I ain't got a problem with that. But what you're actually doing though is really agreeing with me, because that is a content problem when you're only focused on a camera, shovelware games, looking at furry creatures on a screen, a grown man putting his hands up to the bloody screen and having these stupid creatures interact with him. This is the stuff of 5-year-olds. Not the people who bought your console. Look at your demographic. They're not 5-year-olds. Your demographic is teens and mid-20s, early 30-somethings. They don't want connecticles, connectanimals, or whatever they called it. They don't know furry, fake ass. They don't know furry, fake ass Pokemon.
I do remember that. Ironically, I don't think that ever dropped. It was a tech demo. It never dropped that particular game, and then they never dropped stuff like the Illuma Room. Remember Illuma Room? Illuma Room never surfaced with the camera. It's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but
that's lost.
That's R&D, man.
Yeah, a lot of
that's
stuff.
All R&D stuff. That was never intended to come out as a consumer product.
I thought it was because remember they were advertising it.
No,
Like,
that's
heavily.
all R&D do. Sony's got tons of things that they've had for the last 40, 50 years that have never made it to market.
Yeah.
They probably got hoverboard. They probably got a hoverboard that you don't even know about.
No, did you see that insane PS Vita? Like, I don't know. I think Craig saw it, right? What's the name? Tweeted up. It looked just like the Switch. It was a Vita, right? They called it it was a Vita. It looked like a Switch, but it was a Vita. It had the little light bar. You know, like the light bar on that's on the controller, the DualShock 4 that bleeds through. It had that light on top of it, and the Joy-Cons look like, PS4 controllers, and they like slide on. It looked just like, and I was like, "Oh, is that legit?" And everybody was like, "No,
technically, the DualShock 4 is a Lumi room. If you turn that sucker up bright enough, yeah, sure, it'll kill the battery immediately.
Oh yeah,
but you turn that up like bright enough, illuminate that, have more nits in the illumination. And your room's going to be red, gold, and green like a Rastafarian convention if you really wanted it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, mine is turned up because I hooked it up to the PC, and there was some type of mechanism that allowed me to turn it up. I'm sure there's another way to do it, but yeah, it is what it is. So, yeah. All right. I mean, mine works fine. I don't game. To me, if you're sitting there gaming long enough for that controller to go down, you need to get up and go outside. I mean, you should game for maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours.
Listen, I hope Microsoft starts going back to I hope they go back on their word, because Microsoft don't seem to have difficulty backtracking. So it shouldn't be a problem for them to suddenly start buying up exclusives again. Because they don't mind backtracking on everything else. So backtrack on. Oh, I don't like the idea of gobbling up all the exclusives. Thank you, Phil Spencer. In fact, that's what you should have been doing.
Yeah. He didn't have the money. He didn't have the money.
The stuff you've been making didn't quite cut it. Out of the 10 games, 3 of them were good.
Yeah.
The Forzas and the Gears. And what else? Name one title. Sunset Overdrive is still one of the best games on the system, and that released in 2014. That's embarrassing, man.
Yeah, that's
imagine the only game that PS4 gamers could claim is really one of the best after all this time. Imagine that was only Infamous Second Son. And don't get me wrong, Infamous Second Son's a good game, but look how old it is.
Yeah, I can't do that. Nah, that's scary.
You should be long past that evolution of first generation software. Like Rise Son of Rome was. The gameplay was crap, but the idea was excellent. The graphics were excellent. I don't know what happened there, man. There was touches of brilliance.
Yeah.
With Xbox One, they just didn't follow through. And I don't want to hear anyone say any crap about, but it was weaker. Everybody knows power got nothing to do with it. If Nintendo's blowing people away with Super Mario Odyssey and games like Zelda, Breath of the Wild on that weak-ass hardware that we call a portable system, then power has got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, true. It's always been about the talent.
That's true.
Yeah.
Someone asked me if I'm going to get all the consoles next gen, real quick. No, I bought a PC, so I don't have to buy a Scarlett. And so the only consoles I'm buying is PS5 and whatever super iteration of the Switch comes out one day, hopefully a Pro model. But there's no need for me to ever buy an Xbox, because I own a PC that is its replacement. It's called the Replacement Bureau. Have you seen that movie? Good movie.
Yeah, the movie was horrible. Yeah, I saw it.
I've shifted a few things, man. We changed the room, man.
Oh God. Oh Lord. Damn. So
but true though. I mean, look, think about it. I've got an Xbox Scarlett right now. Why am I gonna buy it then? Why am I waiting 12 months for that for? I've already
Well,
got
no,
an
no, no,
Xbox
not
Scarlett.
according to Jack Reacher. You're what you got is weaker than what Scarlett's
It don't
gonna have.
matter.
Oh
It
my
don't matter.
God.
Even on the day of weakness, I just go and buy a graphics card that'll listen. It ain't no listen. I didn't buy a PC, to suddenly get left behind. That's not. I didn't invest in a PC to suddenly be obsolete with it.
Mm.
You understand? So wherever Microsoft drops on day and date, the day it ships, I'll have a better graphics card than the Xbox Scarlett and PS5s. It don't matter.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Shout
I
out
didn't buy
to
my PC to stare at it, man.
yeah. Shout out to Samurai Nova 776 for the $2 super chat. Thank you for the support. He said, "When is the next XO19 coming out?" Isn't that next?
Oh my
It's not
gosh.
next.
Sorry, Ryan. Can I just address this? Someone
Up?
says, Craig Simmons Gaming TV says, again, like you told me this before. But anyway, I'll let you get away with it. Again, a lot of people can't buy a PC. Well, I don't give a damn about those people. We don't share the same bed. Why am I whining about what other people can't buy? We don't live
Get
in
your
the same
hand out of
house.
my pocket.
When did it become my problem what someone can't afford? When did it become my problem? I can afford it. So what's the problem? What should I do because people can't afford it? Should I do without it? Should I stop wearing clothes because somebody might not be able to afford to wear clothing? Well, I don't understand that mindset. Oh, well, other people can't afford PCs. So what should I do? Slit my wrists? I'm sorry that they can't, but what am I supposed to do? Do you want me to live out of a baked bean can as well? What should I do?
Yeah.
I got sympathy for those people, empathy even. I'm sorry that you can't afford to have the best gaming rig or a gaming rig. I'm so sorry that priority cannot be fulfilled. First world problems, man.
Yeah. To answer Samurai's question about XO19, to answer that, brother, it happens on November 14th to the 16th. So that's when we're getting XO19. I'm not excited for it, but I will sit back and definitely.
People always say, imagine you buy a house. Imagine you buy a 6-bedroom house and you got to listen to your neighbors say, well, not everyone can live in it. Well, what the fuck that's got to do with me? Somebody thought you live in a 1-bedroom apartment where you can't swing a cat. What am I supposed to do? I just don't understand that mind. It's like hating it. It's like subtle hating, isn't it? It's like, oh, you should be driving that car because I can't afford to buy that car.
Yeah.
Or you should be wearing that Hugo Boss suit because I have to wear, Macy's suits for $30. Right? Whose fault is that? Sorry, we're not all equal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These consoles as well. I don't know. Well, obviously the price range is more than likely $500 because $600 is just definitely out of the question for both Sony and Microsoft. They just can't afford to drop it at that rate. But for $500 console, if if you're about to spend $500, $600 tax for a console,
I love this chat.
No, Lord.
Get out of my bed. You bought the wrong console.
Yeah, get your hand out of my pocket. Get your hand out of my pocket.
I ain't even gonna add on to this. I'm just gonna move on.
Listen, I'm not a rich man, but I don't get drunk and I don't go clubbing every night. So, some people can't afford things because they piss it down the toilet. That's not my fault. I don't have a drug dependency. I'm sorry I don't have a dependency where all my money's going down the drain. I'm sorry things that I can see the next day that have, a purpose and I use. I'm sorry that I live a functional human life.
Oh God. All right, moving on.
I could be going out getting pissed every night, couldn't I? Spending hundreds of pounds on alcohol, meeting women that don't care about me, and meeting people that just want to use me. But I'm not doing that. I'm buying stuff and I'm waking up and hey, guess what? It's still there. Thank you. Thank you for sticking around.
Somebody's got something called a 2080 Ti, they say. But, enjoy playing God of War at 720p, 30 frames a second.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie though, Cray. I get what you're saying, but that whole argument about now everybody can afford this, that, and the third, it kind of goes out the window every generation with consoles. You're spending over $1,000 with these consoles in general because we're not even just counting just the hardware and additional stuff like additional controllers, headsets, right? But we're also counting software.
Well, think about it. If you buy an Xbox, if you bought the X at launch, you paid $500, just without tax. And then if you bought the keyboard and mouse by Razer, that was another $250.
Yeah, not
so so let's just say you bought all of that. You paid $700. That is a decent PC rig. And the same with PlayStation. If you bought the Pro and then you went out and bought the VR at $399, you spent roughly the same amount of money. You spent what, $800? So again, that's a decent PC rig. And you went out and bought a 4K TV, which you paid maybe at least for a good one.
Xbox Live memberships.
Yeah, you pay $799.
Craig, you know the adrenaline software that you know so much about on the AMD side?
Oh yeah.
Well, apparently in December, now this isn't official, but there's rumors out there from lots of PC outlets that are, I don't know, deemed respectable, I suppose. I don't know too much about them, but I haven't seen any bad feedback on them. But quite a few of them are saying in December, AMD is going to drop an update for this current generation of RDNA Navi cards, meaning the RX 5700 series, for ray tracing.
I've heard that. And I guess you heard the news that the new Xbox is going to be powered by Arcturus by AMD. Even though AMD's not said nothing. I got nothing. I got stock in it.
I heard that 6 months ago, man. Didn't believe it then. Don't believe it now.
Yeah, me either. I mean, I love
that's
how
AMD, that's top range PC hardware.
Well, yeah, I know, but this is being reported by Jack Reacher.
That's like saying Epic. That's like saying Epic Rome is going to be Scarlett. 32 compute units, 64 threads.
Mm-hmm.
You know that server chip.
Yeah.
But you might as well say, oh, that's gonna be in the Scarlett. You might as well say that. Just make up any shit while you're at it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna have a thread ripper too. That will be in Scarlett. Might as well, if you're gonna lie big. It's like what did he say to Willie Beamer? If you're gonna make a mistake big. If you guys are gonna lie, make sure you butter the biscuit all the way up. Just say you're gonna have Arcturus and you're gonna have a thread ripper in there from AMD. Okay, this lie. If you're gonna lie your asses off, at least lie your ass off. You know
what's funny on the PS4? You know what's funny on the Pro? I always choose the 1080p option.
Really?
And on my PC, I always choose a 1440p option, ultra everything. I never play the Pro with checkerboard or super sampling, and I never play the PC at 4K. Even the games that allow me to play at 4K, I just don't bother.
Yeah,
I just don't care that much. I'd rather have the highest ultra settings at 1440p than have just high settings at 4K.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm the opposite. Yeah, I'd rather do 1440p, but with high to mid setting. It's like somebody was saying, well, you can put your clouds.
Why wouldn't you ultra it if you?
Because there's not a ton of difference. At least I was playing Control today, and I put it in ultra, and I'm like, all right, there's a little bit of a difference.
Oh, I don't know what game you're talking about, but I see a huge difference in ultra and medium. I'm sorry.
Oh, ultra medium, yes, but ultra and high, there's not a ton.
Well, I still see a difference, but it depends on the.
It's in the texture, it's in the
quality. Volume, like if you're talking about shadow effects, then I don't see much difference between high and ultra. If you look at volumetric lighting, though, I see a difference.
Oh yeah,
when you're on ultra, it looks pristine. There is not one artifact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that is true. I won't deny that. Yeah, that is true. But like for me playing Control, because it's a darker game, I don't see so I have the shadows down, like you were just saying, because it's already dark. It's like if I play Assassin's Creed like Odyssey or Origins, I turn the setting, like the water settings, I turn that down to medium because it's friggin' water. Or the clouds. I drop the clouds.
I gotta see my fish. What are you talking about? My fish gotta look pristine.
My
fish gotta look pristine. What you talking
about? I've got an Asus monitor. I've got an Asus 144 hertz monitor, right?
Oh yeah.
Even though I only play at 60, so it's a waste. It's a wasted feature on the monitor for me, because I play V-synced, so it's always 60 for me. But even though I can push more, I play at 60 because, you got to understand, I'm coming from console peasantry. So it's overwhelming for me even to play at 60. So so at the end of the day, my Asus monitor, it's got 144 hertz mode. It's got, what's that AMD? It's FreeSync. Yeah, it's got FreeSync. which I've never had to use because, as I say, I'm locked at 60. But it's going to come in handy at some point, I'm sure. And the TV automatically knows what my computer display is at. So if I change my computer display to 1440p, the monitor automatically knows that's happening. So it runs all the games in 1440p on screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Natively.
it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool how it does.
If I change it to 1080p, it does that too. Or if I put 4K, it just displays everything at 4K, regardless of what I set the game at. That's the output it wants to do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I play Switch on it and PS4 Pro, and it makes the world of difference to my Samsung 4K 55-inch TV. Remember, this is a 28-inch Asus monitor, so it's a lot smaller, obviously, than a 55-inch Samsung that I bought back in 2016. But the picture quality, the color, the gradient, it's all so much better than the TV.
Yeah.
And I only paid I paid 250 for this monitor.
Good Lord.
250, and it's got. I paid 250 for the monitor. I got it on sale on Amazon. I must have caught it at the right time because it's gone up now. It's got 2 HDMI sockets. It's got the the I can't remember what it's called, but the PC input, visual input, the newer one that's not HDMI. I can't remember.
Oh, guys,
it's just a great monitor for 250. And it's like, if you're smart, right? Don't look at 4K TVs for your consoles. Look at PC monitors. They're cheaper, and sometimes they're far more.
They're all about performance. You want that better.
And you got 1 millisecond.
Exactly,
you got 1 millisecond.
That's what I play on.
I got 1 millisecond response time. Zero trace. It's trace free, so you don't see any ghosting, right? But you get all that on a 4K TV, and this is what I paid for my 4K TV. I feel gutted to know that this cost me $250 just a couple of years later.
Yeah, I'm buying another monitor. Yeah. I want one of those big ultra wide ones. Though. I want the 21 by 9.
Yeah.
I want something like that. If I'm gonna go,
let's move over to the last 2 topics. All right, let's get these out the way. Move this one right here. This is an easy one. There was a report saying that PS5 might not be fully backwards compatible with PlayStation 4. I looked into this. I doubt that's true, because they're all running on x86, and PS5 is going to use x86 architecture. If anything that PS5 will run into in terms of issues, in terms of being backwards compatible with something, it will more than likely be PS3. And that's it.
No, I have to be honest. There will be the odd PS4 game that's going to have timing issues in terms of back compat. It will be games that were very, very early, though.
Yeah.
Because Sony have added to the even the PS4's development kit, while we've all been playing on it. Obviously, they've been updating the UI and other internals that we don't even know about under the hood, right? So it's gone through a huge change in terms of system updates and development kit updates. Even when the system launched, years into its launch, it's been refined over and over. So there are going to be the odd outliers that they'll run, but you'll come to a stage where it might crash or there's timing issues. But it'll be very, very few titles, that maybe 2 in 100 titles.
Well, you mean the PS5 not having that thread ripper?
It will run the game. It will run the game. But you got to remember, the PS5 is emulating.
Yeah.
It's emulating the PS4. It's still emulating. It's not like they just put those chips in. They're emulating the behavior of a PS4 and a Pro. Okay? So there's going to be some titles that are going to behave, they're going to be unpredictable. So they'll run. You'll get them to run, but you might get 10 hours into the game at a crucial point, and it just keeps crashing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, I don't care. I'm not buying the PS5 to play PS4 game. I will. It's nice. It's the garlic mashed potato. The PS4 games on the PS5 are the garlic mashed potato.
I'll be honest with you. There's going to be, in every new console's launch, there's going to be that period where you're waiting on games.
Yeah,
and believe me, you are going to turn to PS4 titles on PS5.
No. That's fine. Which is fine. I understand that, but it's not why. And I understand the beginning of it. Sony always, every generation, Sony's the same. You guys were mentioning this earlier about the DNA of the company. Sony's airplane taxis down the runway, it coasts off, and then when it takes off, it goes. Mm-hmm. I understand they got a taxi down the runway, but I'm not buying that PS5 to play PS4 games.
Right, you're playing for the next iteration.
Yeah, I'm for the next generation. It's great that I can do it. I'm not going to complain.
For me,
it's like a novelty. It's an expensive novelty.
It's always been. It's part of the package for me.
Yeah.
Because I need to carry over my experiences, man.
Yeah.
I don't want that PS3 thing again where I had to keep plugging in that console.
Yep.
At the same time as plugging in, setting up my PS4, because that was horrible. I didn't like that. I had to keep switching over the HDMI and all that. It was pre-4K TV as well, when it was just a 1080p TV. And some of them only have one HDMI socket.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So you have to keep switching them over, and I was getting sick and tired of that. In fact, I'm sure that's how I damaged my PS4 vanilla, the launch one. The HDMI at the back. It fell off. Because I kept swapping out the cables. Do you know what I'm saying? For PS3.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. It's a big cloud. I love it. It's a novelty.
It really is. It's an expensive novelty that we've always, we used to have in the past, and it's become more and more expensive.
You know what excites me the most about next gen?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the ray tracing is going to be on the system silicon.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
because
let's talk about
that. No, I'm more than
being reported.
I'm more than sure. I told this. Listen, let me tell you something.
Said this a long time ago.
Let me explain this. I didn't need Wired to tell me this. I said this ages ago. It was going to be hybrid, a mixture of software and hardware. Even when everyone was saying Boss is going to have accelerated and telling me I don't know what I talk about. Even throughout all of that, I kept maintaining that it is going to be hardware based and not reliant solely on software. I even told people that the reason why it's going to need to be software hybrid as well as hardware accelerated is because AMD had identified issues with ray tracing when it's only running at a hardware level. The software fixes that problem.
But that's not what Jack Reacher was reporting. He was specifically saying that only Xbox is going to have hard ray tracing.
Listen, I do my research. You
know
what? It's not every. No, not you. I'm just saying to naysayers. Right?
I know. You're right.
Inside sources. I know inside sources.
Let me finish. Forget inside sources, man. Listen, you can't always rely on inside sources. They're not always available. And when they're not there, what are you going to do? Not make a video?
Exactly.
I'm grateful to wherever I get my information, but I'm not really solely reliant on them because you got to fill in the gaps when they're not around, yeah? And that means doing a lot of research, reading between the lines, understanding what the information that you are absorbing, because you can read a book but still don't understand what's in the book, right? Yeah. You can read it 100 times and not understand what's in the book, right?
That's true. That's my case.
You need this decoding mechanism in order to understand information. If your brain doesn't take to it, it's never going to take to it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I wasn't always reliant on any inside source, which I've lost one of them now. Yeah. However, some of this is common sense as well. Like I refuse for people to pat me on the back and say things like, "Oh, you broke." No, I'm not talking about you guys. Yeah. Because before you guys even said anything today, people have been saying, "Well, you broke this and you broke that." Do you know what? I'm happy to hear it, but when I don't deserve it, I'll fess up and say, "You know what? Part of it is common sense as well." Yeah. It's keeping your eyes open. It's keeping your ears to the ground. It's being ahead of the curve with information. It's being there at the forefront of information, not waiting for other channels to dissect it and put it out there. As soon as you get it, you're supposed to be able to, assimilate and then make sense of it and then deliver it to your audience in a way that they can understand, not dumb it down, but just put it in a layman term, because you can't assume everybody speaks the same jargon out there.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. Well,
People always fight me and say, thank you, not just for giving us news, but for explaining it the way you do. Because I don't know shit about this. And the way you make it sound, you make it sound so easy to understand. And I do that on purpose, because I can't assume everybody has the same brain that I do. That
Yeah.
would be narcissistic.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have
So,
a couple inside sources.
You know, that's a
Nah,
good
they've,
question. Let me ask that question for everybody in the chat. So, who is actually going to be? Who's going to keep their PS4s going into PS5? Like, who's keeping them? Are y'all legit?
I am. I'm
I'm
never
not turning
trading
mine
anything.
in, but I was wondering who's actually going to keep it. If it doesn't have if it's not fully backwards compatible with all these games right now, are you guys really?
Well, I'm not keeping my PS4. There's just,
you're not keeping it at all. You're getting rid of it.
No. I mean, there's no reason for me to keep it. Now that doesn't mean I won't double back towards the end of the generation and be like,
I'm gonna put mine in storage. I'm gonna put mine in
that's
storage.
my PS3 is in storage.
I'm collecting them all now. I'm not giving them up anymore.
Yeah, I may try to find a PS3.
I'm at the stage in life where I don't have to trade in order to afford a new console.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the paper round anymore. I've grown up now. I'm beyond that stage. Now I'm at a place where I have the ability to afford the things that I can afford. Of course, there's things I want that I can't afford.
Right.
But I just learn to live with what I can afford. Like sometimes you have to be content in life. That you can't have everything.
No, you're correct about that. No,
I'm curious. I'm curious. Everybody in the chat, because everybody's
what is
talking
within your budget? Make sure you get it though.
Yeah.
You know, because you only live once. If it is within your budget,
grab it.
Don't be mean to yourself. Get it if you can afford it, but then don't kill yourself for something though. Don't go breaking the bank or getting into debt for something. Don't pay 3 times the value of something on some layaway.
Right.
I'd rather just have a piggy bank and save slowly.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I told people that months ago. I said, yeah, start saving like it's going to be a $600. And people got mad. I'm like, look, based on what it can do, they may come out there. Don't be shocked to say we need $5.99 stacks. And people will be like, but guess what? You're going to buy it because how you want to see what Aloy does. You want to see what Naughty Dog is going to do next. You want to play that MLB The Show game. I mean, you want to. You're just going to suck it up and you're going to be like, all right, well, I'll work a couple extra shifts.
I'm at a stage in life where I don't have to spend money to impress people.
Yeah.
When you're young, you have to spend money to impress maybe a female that you like or maybe a male that you like. Nowadays, you might swing both ways. I don't know, but when you're young, you're more likely to overspend. A propensity for trying to show off and impress people. But you get to a stage where you become comfortable with yourself, and you don't have to go out as often. You don't have to waste money as often. Because be honest, when you were younger, all the times you went out, only 50% of the time did you have fun. Do you know what I'm saying? Most of the time it was shit and a waste of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, somebody said they're getting a Sony 8K TV. Well, I can tell you right now, that's going to cost some stacks.
Yeah, that's going to cost.
But Gran Turismo,
I won't be ready for 8K for at least 10 years.
Fact.
10 years time. 10 years I'll be ready for 8K.
Yeah, no, I will not be getting that. Yeah, I want one though.
Yeah,
so, but Gran Turismo will be running at 8K. So
yeah.
Oh, you got a super chat.
Let me definitely ask this from
gotta
right
pay
here.
the bills.
He's super. Oh, okay. Mr. Twister.
Guerrilla Games is gonna have a launch game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for the 20 SEK. Appreciate the support. Thank you so much. He says, what PS5 exclusive you expect around launch window? Exclusive. Okay, see.
Guerrilla.
Good
Guerrilla Games is gonna have a launch game.
Okay. For me,
Sucker Punch is gonna have a launch PS5 game, which is Ghost of Tsushima.
No, he's exclusive, like a launch exclusive for PS5.
That's still exclusive to the platform.
Exclusive.
I guess he means like strictly only PS5.
No. If it works for Xbox and PC, then I'm gonna say if it comes up, I'm sorry. If it comes PlayStation, then it's exclusive because you can't keep moving the goalposts. If it's an exclusive console exclusive for Xbox, it's on PC, then you can't get away with that and then say because it's on PS4, it's not a PS5 exclusive. Listen, it's a PlayStation exclusive.
That Predator game. That Predator game.
Did you say Predator? Please leave me alone.
I'm playing as the Predator. Everyone's like, well, you don't need to do the Predator.
The game looks so. I'm not even gonna say it. It looks so unfinished.
I'm playing as the Predator. Ain't nobody gonna.
Oh
God.
Death Stranding's gonna get a re-release on the PS5. So will The Last of Us Part 2. One disc with 4K textures and assets. And 60 frames per second gaming.
I'm just trying to think of a studio that I really want. Hold on, because you guys named some of the main ones.
I want to see something new from. I want to see something from Insomniac's second team because they got 2 teams.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So something from Insomniac. I'll answer that for you.
I think they'll have 5. I think they're gonna have 5 games.
But I know Guerrilla
exclusive.
Games is definitely gonna have a sci-fi game, whether
Yeah.
it's
Gran
Killzone
Turismo.
or something new. But it's still gonna be like a space type game, shooter type, online, maybe a single player component mixed in there too. I don't know, but Guerrilla Games are definitely working on a first person shooter with a multiplayer component.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, as long as it can separate those idiot multiplayer guys, because I love. Are you going to talk about what Inquisition did, kicking these people in the
they'll be
balls?
separated. You know what? Sony's already hinted now that they're gonna separate multiplayer.
I love it. I love it.
Because
And
the fact
that
that, no, you know
alone.
why? Do you know why? The fact that the SSD allows you to separate means
Yeah.
that's how it's going to be going forward in terms of loading off the disk. You know, installing off the disk. It's going to ask you, do you want to install a full, or do you want to have an express? You know, like on PC, you can do express.
Yeah.
You know, so you just take what you want, or you can just. That's how it's going to be. So they're going to be separate entities going forward.
And didn't White Zaddy? Didn't they
Oh
say
yeah, I forgot about
PlayStation
SOCOM
had
and Demon
some-
Souls. Yeah, good point.
Oh,
guys.
we don't know
SOCOM's
about
been working
SOCOM.
on, man. That's SOCOM.
Yeah.
You know who's working on SOCOM?
Tyrone.
You better call Tyrone.
Yeah. Did they call Tyrone to come work?
Oh, he ain't home.
He said, "Imagine." He's almost some Chloe from Uncharted 4 in 4K 60.
What's that song?
Can you imagine Aloy in 4K native?
Oh, bro, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
Yeah.
Don't tempt me. She already looked as gorgeous as hell in the base
Yeah, she's
model.
got that little.
Yeah, I tell you, Blue Point working on SOCOM.
Really? I thought it was.
Here's a
Twisted
fun
Metal.
fact though. You probably didn't know, Craig. The chick who plays, Aloy is the chick who plays Chloe in Detroit. The starting screen. You know, the chick who says, "Hi, welcome to Detroit." Her.
Oh yeah, you know what?
That's
yeah.
Her.
Oh
That's
my
her.
Do you know where
God.
she's from?
That's her.
She's Dutch,
Stunning.
you know.
Yeah,
She's from Holland,
she was
man.
French.
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
I thought she was French.
She's from.
Well, she can be whatever she wants to be, looking like
No,
that.
she's Dutch. The girl, right, is Dutch. The girl that plays Aloy is Dutch.
Ah.
Yeah. Well, she could be Dutch all day long, baby.
And she's not the same girl that plays Detroit Become Human. They're two separate people.
I mean that looked amazing. I will never forget that opening screen for Detroit. I'm like, are you kidding me? The game actually looks like this. That wasn't a mock-up that we saw.
Listen. You better call Tyrone.
Yeah, so they are working on SOCOM. Well, that's good to know. That gives me a little chub. So I'm happy. You know, I did not think that.
No,
game was ever gonna
I've
come.
been New Spartan. I was telling Craig because I figured Craig didn't know that was Aloy, the chick who plays her. So,
Yeah.
I think we talked about the race tracing, right? The software. Yeah, we just talked about this. So we pretty
Well,
much.
No, we
didn't.
We didn't really talk about it. We didn't really talk about it.
Oh, we didn't really talk about it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
they confirmed
legit.
They confirmed legit. Yeah, I was trying to. That's right. They legit confirmed for the PlayStation 5 hardware-based ray tracing second gen RDNA. That's what they said. Second gen. So
No, the RDNA, the second gen RDNA, just the GPU design. It's the ray tracing.
Yeah, that's
is really going to be pushed by AMD with the RDNA 2 GPUs, but they can still push ray tracing with the current Navis that's on PC at the moment. They could if they wanted to, but they for to make more money to sell GPUs that don't have those features, they might want to push it onto the second one. But that means PS5 is using the second gen RDNA. So it will have that ray tracing at silicon level. But here's the thing. I told you all ages ago that it's not going to be on NVIDIA RTX.
Yes. Yeah.
2080 Ti level. Of course it isn't. I told you it's going to be a crude, rudimentary form. And I'm sticking by that. In other words, you will get it used sparingly. It's not going to be like you enter a scene and everything's ray traced. I'm sorry. They're going to pick and choose what they're going to ray trace because it's a very taxing, expensive the hardware to have ray tracing, especially on a home console. So you're more likely going to see it used in lighting solutions. But in terms of reflections on windows and stuff, it'll be used very sparingly. It'll be the closest windows to your character. You won't see it throughout the scene. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
which is fine. It's a console, but they've. And here's the thing: even though Mark Cerny and Lisa Su pretty much confirmed this during the CES, and these idiots are running around. Look, forget about what Mark Cerny said. Forget about what Lisa Su said. We're going to talk about what White Zaddy said. And White Zaddy has confirmed this, so you all need to go make your bones with White Zaddy, because if you're not,
You should write a book with all these characters: Lou Waffer, White Zaddy. These are
well,
these are
White
characters.
Zaddy has confirmed.
You know what? We're waiting for this book of yours to release, man, because these characters, we need to know more about them.
Oh yeah, that's fine. But White Zaddy has confirmed this, so they need to get over it. I mean, it's just when they said it was happening, everybody went nuts. I saw that. My phone was what did the kids say, was blowing up. And then what else did they say? The YouTube gaming streets was on fire because these idiots ran around saying that the PlayStation was not going to have hardware-based ray tracing, even though Mark Cerny and Lisa Su said this shit back in February.
You bought the wrong console, man. Shut up! You bought the wrong console. Erica Badu said, "Hey, you took a wrong turn right there somewhere."
Don't start.
Bring your console back to the store. You keep the receipt, man. We always keep our receipts on Twitter.
There you go.
Yeah, we remember you all saying this. Do not act like we don't know. I mean, somebody was doing a video just 72 hours before all this news dropped about how the Xbox Scarlett was going to have Navi 20, and then the PlayStation was going to have Navi 10, and it turned out not to be true.
Even the PC don't have Navi 20, not even 12.
No, I mean, this is what
12.
There were just so many ridiculous claims. It just made you cringe. Just like, dude, come on. You're better than that.
Well, again, if you're not going to believe Lisa helping design the goddamn thing, who's in charge of the company, is putting it together, you're not going to believe Mark Cerny, who's the lead architect, then can you believe White Zaddy? Because you all run with that for some reason.
Oh, God.
So, White,
listen, I rather believe White Boy Rick.
Oh, well, yeah, that's fine, too. But Zaddy
White Boy Rick is?
Confirmed. So, I saw that movie.
The most unlucky kid in America.
In America, he had a hard time for a white boy Rick, But no, White Zaddy, I mean, if y'all not going to believe anybody, you believe Zaddy. So, and Zaddy loves you, and you love Zaddy. So, Zaddy has confirmed this. So, you all need to, make peace with it. Because Fox is right. He's been telling you what it was going to have. I've been trying to tell people what it has. Like, all right, we don't believe us. You believe White Zaddy. So,
listen, I even tried to tell people about the increased Blu-ray drive. Before even Sony announced it, I made a video about Blu-ray taking up 400 gigs and most games are 100 gig. I made so many references to 100 gig without actually saying it, because you can't actually say it. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know when someone says you can't say it, but you can say other things that without saying it. So 100 gig, if you watch that video back, you hear it. You hear me say, games now exceed 100 gig. And lo and behold, about a month later, Sony announces games will release on 100 gigabyte disc.
Yeah, absolutely.
I said Blu-ray is going to be more important than ever next gen. I said that in that video. Blu-ray, the way these games are so big now, up to 400 gig. I'm telling you, games are 400 gig without impression. They have to compress it down from 400 gig. Right, and fit it. They got to reduce it 4 times its size. Some of these games, we're talking about 4K assets and textures here. This isn't 1080p with checkerboarding. We're out of that fucking zone now.
Yeah,
you wanted 4K, so now you're gonna have to buy the storage to keep 4K going. You have to maintain 4K like a wife.
Yeah.
You gotta find somewhere to put your wife, because 4K gonna take up a lot.
Now, but let me ask you, how we're about to
them
go
textures
here,
is not going to be kind. That's all I gotta say on that hard.
No, man, you're gonna have texture downloads.
Yeah, I'm saying, and we're not even talking about patches.
10 gig. You're gonna have texture downloads that are just 10 gig alone.
Yeah, and we're not talking about patches neither, though. That's the sad part. That's why they have this new. Supposedly, they have this feature I read about where. You can legit, like, like on PS4 you can choose what downloads first. Well, apparently on PS5, you can choose what you prioritize first. For example, if you want to play the multiplayer first, you can prioritize.
Oh, hell, who wants to play multiplayer first?
I'm saying, if
you can do that with Uncharted 4. You can pick the multiplayer, or you can pick the single player. You can.
I did do that. That was cool.
But according to this, that you can actually do it separately. Like, you don't necessarily have to download certain parts of the game at all for the PS5. You can just go strictly whatever it was. So like you bought a multiplayer game and you like the single player, you can pick the single player and not even have to worry about.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know on the PS4's UI at the moment, you got that kind of board where it tells you what everyone's doing.
Yeah.
You can just click on someone who's playing the game and it will just go straight into that part immediately.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's what you're talking about. It's instantaneous. You can just join your friends without having to wait for loading.
Yep.
It's just there. Bang, you're in it. Immediately. You're talking to them within seconds of hitting the button.
Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how I put
man.
on Twitter. Listen, I put on Twitter 3-4 months ago that Sony are aiming.
Y'all seen everything pieced together? Everything
from the moment you hit the start, from the moment you turn on your console to getting in the game, Sony are trying to make that less than 15 seconds.
That transition.
I'm talking from hard boot up.
Yeah.
And from resume, Sony want it to be less than 5 seconds.
Yep.
I said this about 4 months ago, man.
Yep.
But
that's
you're
all
not
about
Zach.
No
that
one
transition.
believes me when I say it, though. But when it comes out like through Wired, suddenly everyone believes it because it's Wired.
Well, no, I mean, it's not that. It's not you're not white Zaddy. They don't want to believe us. They will believe Zaddy. Okay, that's just the way it is. I mean, I've given up on it. I mean, it doesn't matter what the truth is. I told them how powerful the GPU was
You don't
going
have
to
to
be.
believe me. I mean, I don't expect people to believe me when I'm saying it because
I want them to believe me.
sometimes you have to think this is a small channel. How does he know? It's easy to fall into that, yeah. So I don't expect people to believe me, but when what I say actually comes to light and is perfectly accurate, like the same people that turn around and say, you're this, that, and the other, you should man up and say, you know what, man, I'm sorry, I doubted you, but you never get that. They hide under their little rock.
That's why I don't acknowledge those people at all.
I don't acknowledge it either, but everyone's there to tell you that you're wrong. But when you're right, no one's there to. No one stands up and says, you know what, I was wrong.
Facts. So big facts. Joystick Guru, $2 super chat. Thank you for the support. Thank you. He said, this is for the panel. He said PS5 compatibility with external hard drives, day one.
I don't know, because Zaddy was talking about there was something, and I'm about to go back and watch the video. But they were saying that there is something that is proprietary to the PS5 when it comes to the SSD. It went over my head because I was playing.
I don't know where that's coming from at all. That makes zero sense. In terms of the compatibility with external hard drives, let's just be real here. Yes, they're going to have those. Obviously, they're going to be selling those. You can buy those separate like you do with any PS4 and PS3 system. You can buy external hard drives. I don't know why.
What about Joystick Guru, man? You're getting paid here and you're ignoring these people.
He read it. That's what I was talking about.
Did you read it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he read it.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just overly considerate today.
I read it. Trust me. But I do believe day one for sure that will happen. Joystick Guru, external hard drives will be available, and hell, they're available now. The new specialized SSD that's in the PS5 is an M2 drive more than likely, and that's going to be internal. And the one that you're going to be changing was the external. So the external is going to be obviously whatever you want, whatever side you want. So yeah, they're going to have that.
Yeah, I'm not changing nothing. I'll keep mine stock.
500 gigs. And if they have a 500 gig model, so you're just going to stay with 500 gigs.
You know what? The SSD is not going to be changeable, on the PS5. Yeah. It's going to be built into the main motherboard. So
no, the external.
That's going to be. No, nothing external about it, mate. The SSD that Sony are using are going to be like chips soldered onto the board. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's going to be like PC.
You're talking about the one with the operating system on it.
It's not going to be like PC where you can just swap it in and swap it out. This is non-removable. This is proprietary. It's a bespoke.
So it's not like PS3. It's going to be.
No, it's totally different to PC because Sony have designed their own one, right, where it exceeds anything on PC right now. Mark Cerny said. There's nothing on PC that can match this speed that they've got for PS5.
Yeah, and maybe that's what's proprietary. They said something that was proprietary. I can't remember what it was because I was actually playing.
It's the SSD is proprietary. It's SSD.
Well, no, and that could be it. Yeah, it was playing.
No, that is it. So it's not. It could be. I'm telling you, it's the SSD.
Well, yeah. No, I'm not saying.
I'm not speculating. That's the fact. That is a fact. It's the SSD. That they say is bespoke. Even Mark Cerny said that it blows everything away in the PC space in terms of
which I'm
bespoke.
saying.
Bespoke. Yeah. Microsoft won't have this. Microsoft got there 40 times faster than Xbox, yeah. But we don't know where that's coming from. That could be off the shelf. That could be something available in the PC space. This is specifically designed for the PlayStation 5's motherboard. You cannot buy this. This is not for sale. This is only for PlayStation 5 hardware.
Yeah, we'll have to wait. Yeah, like I said, it'll be here. Yeah, it'll be here in a year. Like I said, they spoke about it. I can't remember. I was playing Madden, so I'm like, I need to go back and listen to that again. And I just haven't gotten back to watch.
Do you remember I said on a podcast maybe 6 months ago?
Certainly no time to waste.
We were talking about a companion.
Get on with it.
Yes.
Or portable PS5, something like that. Yeah, affordable one. Do you remember I said Sony are working on? I've been told, by my so-called insider, that Sony are working on technology that allows you to take chunks of game data.
Yes. Yeah.
And what did they just announce?
Yep.
You can take chunks of game data and load it up from your SSD. It hasn't quite made it into a portable factor, but it's the same technology that I was told about 7 months ago, man.
Yep.
You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. And it was nowhere on the internet to be found. This is something I was told.
Yeah.
From mouth to ear. I was told, right? It wasn't something you can read. There were no patents that I found or, some in Brazil or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This was information that was totally off the grid. And it's come to light. Yeah, they're using it for the SSD, but it's the same technology.
Yeah.
You should, instead of having one huge pool of data that's slow to get through, Sony are cutting it up into chunks and still playable without other pieces of data. It means that for somehow, I don't know how they're doing it, but you can take chunks of a game and it will act like it's a complete game where all those other bits are missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the way, well, I'm excited about it.
It's like jigsaw. It's like, imagine a game as a jigsaw. You can swap pieces out. Or you can make the complete jigsaw picture. Yeah. Or you can remove half of the jigsaw because that's the part you want to play with.
Yeah.
Or a quarter of the jigsaw, or a third, or shrink it down to 1/5 if you want to. Whatever. Sony might come out with a portable one day, right? Maybe they'll test it in Japan, where storage won't be an issue because they'll release the standard PS5 game. But they won't have to worry about storage because you can take 2 hours of that game, 3 hours of that game, 4 hours of that game, and fit it on the onboard memory or SSD card and play just that part of the game. And then when you go home, you can dock it or plug it in and you can just interchange bits of data, this level, that level, and play it that way. You don't have to carry the whole game around with you. Do you get what I'm saying? And it'll feel like it's the whole game. You still get the start. You still get the loading. You still get the initial front end loading screen. It still says press start, but it's just 2 hours of a certain part of the game that you're on. And then you can go home and instantly continue on your main system where the whole game's stored. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the technology I was talking about. And people are saying, that don't exist. You're talking rubbish. These people don't bother me, but it just goes to show you that you shouldn't doubt everything. I know there's a lot of bullshitters out there, but I ain't here to do that, man.
Tons.
Yeah.
I'm not here to do that, man. You find out who bullshitters are in time. Time always exposes people.
Facts.
Yeah.
I've been doing this 5 years. Show me how I've ever told a lie or been grossly inaccurate about anything.
Yeah.
Not
Very
one
true.
time.
Yep. Very true.
I'm like Charlie Sheen. I just keep winning.
What am I looking for here? My chat. Okay, I got everything.
Tiger blood.
Yeah. This from PlayStation Inquisition. Shout out to him. Appreciate the super chat. $2 CA. I don't know what that is. Yeah, but thank you. It says, hey Sony, when can I pre-order my Tacoma? Or Takikoma? I don't know what game that is. But,
What game? What game?
it's a super chat. He put Takikoma? TACH.
Tacoma.
Oh,
Tacoma.
Tacoma. I can't even see it.
Tacoma.
I'm far away from the damn screen. I can't.
I'm sure Tacoma is like a space game in a space station. Like it's a. and you got
Hopefully
to see.
soon.
I'm sure
Yeah,
that's what it is. I've heard of Tacoma. That's on all the platforms. I'm sure it's on PC, Xbox, PlayStation 4. It's an old game, 2015, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nah, maybe spelled.
You know my problem. I know too much. That's my
Somebody
problem.
get him. He knows too much. Get him.
No, I do. I know too much, and it's a burden, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for sympathy here, but I'm going to be honest. Sometimes when you know a lot of stuff, it's a big burden, man.
Yeah.
Because one, you can't share it, and even if you can share it, you're going to have doubting Thomases anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, that's the way of life.
You know, and sometimes you're excited, you're bursting at the seams to be able to share this news. And then, you know, while you get a lot of people that accept the news because they trust you, which is fine, you know, look at my track record. It's nice to be trusted. But then you got those other people that they only believe it when IGN says it. But then IGN says it a year later.
Yeah.
I told you a year in advance. You doubted me, and now a year later, now it's believable. Now you're the one making articles about the shit I talked about a year ago. It's like you bootlegging my old album.
Oh shit. Fucking little
That is
man
frustrating.
like
Though.
candy
I
shop.
find
Did
it
he have butcher
frustrating.
shop?
Very frustrating. I know why though. It's because my channel's tiny. You know, my channel's so small. You know, if you gotta feel sorry for it, man. It's like 3 foot tall or something. It's a midget in a closet. My channel.
Yeah. Mine's a damn ant at this rate.
My channel is tiny. It's so small. Magnifying glass, you can't even see it.
Yeah.
But that's not my fault, is it? Got to start from somewhere.
Facts.
It's not my fault I don't have 1 million subscribers with the same information. What can I do? I'm not here. I'm not here to count heads anyway. I'm here for the passion, the love, to share information. There's nothing I like more than talking about things I can talk about.
Facts. Wow. I think, I actually went through everything. I was going to throw this in here because we have more people, but I'm just going to throw this in there. House of the Dead 2 remake. Am I interested?
I'll look into it.
Well, if it comes out on the Switch only, I'll only play those old Sega AM2, AM3 games if they drop on Switch.
You want to play against
Because
Bowman?
I don't find it suitable to play those old school games on a bespoke, you know, top end console like say Xbox One X or the Pro. I don't. It's like virtual racing. I wouldn't be interested if that launched on PlayStation Store, but on Switch, it's great. Because Switch is like my retro modern type console. Like I feel like I've got the best of the 90s, the early 2Ks, and even obviously to date.
Yeah.
Modern games. I feel like that's what the Switch is about. It covers so many decades in its library of games. It's amazing.
Yep. All right. You want to add anything to that, Craig?
No, that was it. Yeah, I appreciate it.
You're not in a hurry to go.
Oh no, I was asking to make sure you buy
No.
No, you got that other podcast, haven't you?
That's about to start. Yeah, that is.
What time is it?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's 7.
We're good. Yeah, we are getting down to the wire.
You don't care about your chat. You're just gonna abandon them for some other podcast. That's all right.
There we go.
That's okay. You're gonna boot me out and get rid of them, for other people when you should be looking about your own channel. But that's all right. Who's gonna judge you? No one's here to judge you.
Oh God, this man. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you so much for everybody who came through today. This was an outstanding show. I had an amazing time with y'all. This is over 170.
Such an amazing time. He's leaving you for another channel.
There we go.
130 people.
We broke down pretty much everything, and I can't even think of anything else to talk about. We pretty much broke down literally everything that happened this week. It was definitely a lot of news to go over, and it's always a pleasure to talk with y'all on Fridays, man. Thank y'all so much who came through, those who still here. If y'all enjoyed this show, definitely hit that like button. We do appreciate y'all. It was a great time, man. I want to say shout out to Carlos Fernandez. He wanted to make it, but he had to work, and he'll be with us next week. But definitely.
So did you have a good time, man? Do you have a good time in this podcast?
Oh, I had too much fun. Too much.
Too much fun, but yet you're leaving us. Oh, that's amazing.
God. You would not let it go.
That's an amazing. That's like an oxymoron. That is like, yeah, you love it here, but
Hey guys, that's why I deal with a Foxy, guys. Let everybody do their outros. Go ahead.
people are upset, man. Look at this, a riot going on,
Oh,
picket
God.
signs and everything. Can't do.
Go ahead, Craig. Get your outro out there, brother.
You can't do this,
Oh yeah,
bro.
thanks for
You
having
got
me.
people.
and,
You got people geared up, bro. Look at this,
yeah.
man. Even Kanye
Yeah.
West in the chat. You can't do this, man. MAGA, dude. MAGA, dude. What you up to, man?
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Now, thanks for
Make
having me.
all
Appreciate
gaming
it.
great
Enjoy
again.
the games. Yeah, enjoy the games. People playing where the terrorists win.
There you
And
go.
I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. And always, my partner in crime here, along with everybody else on this panel, Mr. Foxy Games UK. Go ahead and get that outro out there, brother.
Well, if there's gonna be a console war next year,
Oh, yeah. Get ready.
all I can say is, don't you know, little fool, you never can win.
Oh,
I've
God.
got you under my skin. Play games, no corporations. Good night, everybody.
See you guys next week, as always. And, of course, you'll catch us live on Sunday on Foxy Games UK's channel for the Gamer Couch Podcast, episode, 119 or 120? It's 120?
Oh, we'll get to the number on the day,
Yeah,
man.
we'll get
I'm
to the
too
number.
high.
It's always all right,
Top
man.
numbers.
We'll see you on Sunday for that, 5 p.m. Eastern time. But until next time, all y'all be good. Hope y'all like
Start
this format.
spreading the news. He's leaving today. We're gonna go to another podcast. He's rejecting you all, leaving you.
That's what I'm dealing with,
abandoning
guys. That's what I
you.
deal with. See, for you guys, I
He
deal
don't
with
respect
this.
his own.
That's a lie. Listeners,
subscribers.
man. Those are lies.
He don't like the
Guard,
chat. Our
guard.
subscribers. He's
Guard.
going on his way.
God. Hope you guys like this format for the show. This is actually really cool. This is an idea somebody pitched at me. I'm actually going to do this for a few videos on the channel. Been thinking about throwing some
Don't
Zoids
leave
clips.
me this way.
Will you stop?
I can't
Will you
go
stop?
on.
Stop. Stop it, dude. Think about adding some Zoe clips to go with the Big Cloud name, so you might see Zoe clips playing with my gaming news along with everything else. Just saying, in the background. Until next time, it's Big Cloud Gaming. As always, thank you guys for showing up. What's up, Nathaniel? I see you, fam. Everybody else out there, y'all be blessed. Thank y'all again. We'll see you next time. Nothing but love here on the streets. Y'all be good. Later.